You reach for sugar-free cookies thinking you're making a smart, guilt-free choice. No sugar, no problem, right? But what if that label is quietly misleading you? What if those cookies, marketed as safe for your blood sugar, are actually spiking your glucose, irritating your gut, or feeding into a health illusion that could be doing more harm than good? The truth is, the global sugar-free industry is booming, especially as more older adults try to cut back on sugar. But many of these products use substitutes that aren't as harmless as they sound. From artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame to sugar alcohols like maltitol and sorbitol, these ingredients can cause digestive distress, increase insulin resistance, and even raise your cardiovascular risk over time. And let's not forget the hidden starches and ultra-processed carbs that sneak in under the radar, all while the label proudly says, "G sugar." In this video, we're going to break down the 5 most common traps hidden inside sugar-free cookies and show you how to avoid the blood sugar spikes, the bloating, and the hidden risks. If any of this is surprising, or if you've ever had a sugar-free snack that left you feeling off, go ahead and hit like. Let us know in the comments if you've ever had a reaction to one of these so-called guilt-free desserts. And don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening, practical health advice made for your golden years. Trap 1. Sugar alcohols, the sweeteners that backfire. On the surface, sugar alcohols sound like a miracle fix. They don't raise blood sugar as quickly as regular sugar. They have fewer calories, and they're often the first ingredient you'll spot in sugar-free cookies labeled diabetic-friendly. But here's what most people aren't told. Sugar alcohols like sorbitol, maltitol, and erythritol can quietly wreak havoc on your digestion and metabolism, especially as you get older. Let's start with digestion. Unlike regular sugar, sugar alcohols aren't fully absorbed in your small intestine. Instead, they travel into your colon where they ferment, producing gas, bloating, and sometimes even painful cramping or diarrhea. If you've ever had a sugar-free cookie and then felt like your stomach turned against you an hour later, this may be why. And seniors, you're more vulnerable to this than younger adults because the gut naturally becomes more sensitive and less efficient with age. Add in medications or pre-existing conditions like IBS or diabetes, and that discomfort can become daily. Now here's where it gets more serious. Erythritol, one of the most popular sugar alcohols, was recently linked to a significant increase in heart attack and stroke risk in a study published in Nature Medicine in 2023. The researchers found that erythritol can promote blood clotting in susceptible individuals, a finding that's especially relevant to seniors managing cardiovascular risk. And while more studies are needed, the early warning signs are concerning. There's also the metabolic confusion sugar alcohols create. Your brain tastes sweetness, but doesn't get the glucose it expects. Some researchers believe this disconnect can actually stimulate cravings or trick your body into overeating later. It's not just about fewer calories, it's about the message these ingredients send your metabolism. So what's the alternative? If you truly need a sweetener, look for cookies that use monk fruit or stevia in small, balanced amounts. These plant-based sweeteners don't ferment in the gut, have minimal impact on blood sugar, and are generally better tolerated by older adults. But even better, make your own treats using whole ingredients, almond flour, cinnamon, and a touch of mashed banana or date paste. You'll control what goes in and what stays out. Because at the end of the day, the words sugar-free mean nothing if they leave your gut in knots or your heart at risk. Trap 2. Ultra-processed carbs that spike blood sugar. Anyway, just because a cookie doesn't contain sugar doesn't mean it won't raise your blood sugar. This is one of the most misleading aspects of many sugar-free products. To make up for the sweetness and texture lost when sugar is removed, manufacturers often add refined starches, processed flours, and bulking agents like enriched wheat flour, tapioca starch, rice flour, or even modified cornstarch. The result? A product that technically contains no sugar but digests rapidly into glucose once it hits your system. These ultra-processed carbs are a blood sugar disaster in disguise. They break down quickly in the digestive tract, leading to sharp post-meal glucose spikes, the very thing most people are trying to avoid when choosing a sugar-free cookie in the first place. For seniors, this is especially concerning. As insulin sensitivity naturally declines with age, the body's ability to manage those sudden surges becomes less efficient. Over time, this roller coaster can increase fatigue, disrupt hunger hormones, and worsen conditions like prediabetes or metabolic syndrome. And there's another layer to this trap: the deceptive marketing language. Some cookie brands boast about having low net carbs, subtracting fiber or sugar alcohols to make the carb content seem low on the label. But this calculation doesn't reflect how your individual body responds, especially if you're sensitive to starches or have a sluggish metabolism. You might even find cookies that are technically keto or low carb, but still packed with refined tapioca flour or resistant starches that affect people differently. For some, blood sugar still rises. For others, the combination of these starches with artificial sweeteners leads to cravings shortly after. So what's the fix? Read beyond the sugar line on the label. A look at the first three ingredients. If you see refined flours, starches, or anything ending in OSE or DEX, be cautious. The best options will use whole food bases like almond flour, coconut flour, or flaxseed, and keep the ingredient list short, simple, and recognizable. These natural fibers help slow digestion, support gut health, and prevent sharp glucose spikes. Because sugar-free should never mean sneaky starch bomb. If your goal is steady energy, fewer cravings, and real nourishment, you need to look at the whole cookie, not just the bold print on the front of the package. Trap 3. Artificial sweeteners, sweet but not so innocent. They're in your sugar-free cookies, your diet sodas, your chewing gum, even your toothpaste. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, often sold as Splenda, saccharin, and acesulfame potassium, ACE-K, are everywhere. And they're often marketed as safe alternatives for people trying to manage diabetes or reduce sugar. But here's the uncomfortable truth. While these chemicals might help food taste sweet without sugar, they may come with a hidden cost, especially for older adults. Let's start with the gut. Multiple studies have shown that artificial sweeteners can disrupt the gut microbiome, the delicate balance of bacteria that helps regulate digestion, inflammation, and even blood sugar. One study published in Nature found that consuming artificial sweeteners like saccharin could alter gut flora in ways that impair glucose tolerance, ironically increasing the risk of insulin resistance, especially in people already predisposed to metabolic issues. Then there's the brain. Artificial sweeteners stimulate your sweet receptors, but without delivering any calories or nutrients. Over time, this can confuse your brain and body's natural hunger and reward signals. Many people report increased cravings for sugar and carbs after consuming artificial sweeteners regularly. For seniors, who may already be struggling with appetite regulation or weight gain, this can create a frustrating loop of sugar-free choices that still lead to overeating or poor blood sugar control. And for some people, these chemicals may cause headaches, dizziness, or mood changes. Aspartame, for example, has been linked anecdotally, and in a few small studies, to neurological symptoms in sensitive individuals, although the science remains debated. What's not debated is this: these compounds are not neutral. They interact with your body in complex ways, and the long-term effects, especially when consumed daily, are still being studied. Now, none of this means you need to fear every packet of Splenda or every bite of a light cookie. But if you're relying on artificial sweeteners day after day, thinking they're a free pass, it's time to pause and reassess. So what's the smarter path forward? Try cutting back on artificially sweetened products gradually. Replace them with naturally sweet foods in small portions, like a square of 85% dark chocolate, a mashed date in a homemade cookie, or a touch of cinnamon and vanilla to bring out sweetness without sugar. If you do need a non-nutritive sweetener, stevia and monk fruit extract are generally better tolerated and have a gentler impact on gut health when used in moderation. The takeaway: just because something is sugar-free doesn't mean it's safe-free. Artificial sweeteners might look innocent on the label, but their effect inside your body tells a more complicated story. Trap 4. Hidden additives that harm your gut and immunity. Even when a sugar-free cookie avoids sugar, starches, and artificial sweeteners, There's one more layer most people never look at: the preservatives, emulsifiers, and stabilizers added to keep it shelf-stable, glossy, and chewy. These aren't sweet, but they can quietly chip away at your gut health, especially over time. Common culprits: ingredients like polysorbate 80, carboxymethylcellulose, carrageenan, propylene glycol, and sodium benzoate. You'll usually find them toward the end of the ingredients list, in tiny print most people skip over. But even in small amounts, these compounds can have big effects, particularly on older digestive systems. Studies have shown that certain emulsifiers like polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylcellulose may alter the gut mucosal lining, increasing inflammation and weakening the barrier between your gut and bloodstream. This disruption can trigger what researchers call low-grade metabolic inflammation, a silent process linked to everything from insulin resistance and weight gain to autoimmune issues. For seniors already managing chronic inflammation or compromised immunity, this added burden is the last thing you need from a so-called healthy cookie. Some additives can also disturb the balance of gut bacteria, favoring the overgrowth of harmful species while suppressing the beneficial ones. This imbalance may show up as bloating, irregularity, food sensitivities, or just a general feeling of sluggish digestion. And it doesn't take large doses. For some people, just a few grams a day of these substances, especially when eaten regularly, can quietly create symptoms they never trace back to the cookie aisle. So what can you do? Here's a simple rule. If the ingredient sounds like it belongs in a chemistry lab, not a kitchen, think twice. A better option is choosing cookies, or making your own, that have short, whole food ingredient lists. Almond flour, coconut oil, eggs, cinnamon, and maybe a touch of honey or monk fruit. No mystery. No extra burden on your gut. Because your body isn't just counting sugar, it's responding to every ingredient you feed it. And for many seniors, gut health is the cornerstone of immune strength, mental clarity, and energy. Protecting it starts with awareness, down to the very last additive. If any of this surprised you or made you look twice at your pantry, let us know in the comments. Have you ever felt worse after eating a health cookie or been confused by the ingredients on the label? Share your experience. We read every comment. And if this video is helping you see sugar-free products in a new light, go ahead and like this video. It tells YouTube this topic matters and helps us bring more clarity to others navigating the same choices. Trap 5. The portion size illusion. Why just one cookie isn't what it seems. Here's a subtle trick that even the most careful label reader can fall for. The portion size trap. Most sugar-free cookie packages proudly display phrases like only 1 gram of sugar or just 2 net carbs. And at first glance, that sounds great. But dig a little deeper and you'll notice something sneaky. That serving size is often one small cookie. In reality, most people, especially older adults enjoying a snack with tea or coffee, eat 2, 3, or even 4 cookies in one sitting. And that's where the numbers begin to unravel. Because those 1 gram or 2 net carbs don't reflect what you actually consumed, just what the label wants you to believe. Let's break it down with a real example. A popular sugar-free cookie brand lists its serving size as 1 cookie, with 2 grams of sugar alcohols and 5 grams of carbs. But who eats just 1? Eat 3, and suddenly you've ingested 6 grams of sugar alcohols, enough to trigger bloating and digestive upset for many people, plus 15 grams of rapidly digesting carbs, which can spike your blood sugar if you're not careful. And that's not even counting the emulsifiers or artificial sweeteners that often accompany each bite. This illusion works because food labels are designed to minimize what you see, not what you actually experience. Seniors managing diabetes, heart health, or weight loss are especially vulnerable because the damage builds up slowly. You may not feel the blood sugar spike right away, but you might feel the crash later. Or the fatigue. Or the cravings. It's not your fault. This is by design. The fix, son? Shift from trusting the front of the package to reading the fine print and then doing a quick reality check. Ask yourself, how many of these will I really eat in one sitting? Then multiply the nutrition facts accordingly. This one change alone can transform how you view low-sugar snacks and prevent a lot of hidden sabotage. Better yet, Opt for snacks where one or two pieces actually satisfy you, made from whole ingredients with natural sweetness, fiber, and healthy fats to help keep your blood sugar steady. Because real health doesn't come from tiny serving tricks, it comes from knowing what's real and what's just good marketing dressed up as health. The smarter cookie. What to choose instead. So, now that we've uncovered the 5 biggest traps hiding inside sugar-free cookies, what can you safely enjoy instead? The good news is, the diabetic-friendly cookie market has come a long way. Today, there are brands specifically designed to support stable blood sugar without sacrificing flavor. Companies like High Key, No Foods, and Keto Snaps make cookies using almond flour, stevia, and erythritol, keeping net carbs under 5 grams per serving. These ingredients digest slowly, support better blood sugar control, and are generally well tolerated, even for those with sensitive digestion. If you're on a tighter budget, look for brands like Simple Mills or Goody Girl. They may not be labeled diabetic, but they use cleaner ingredients and lower glycemic flours, making them better choices than traditional processed cookies. For pure taste, many seniors rave about High Key's chocolate chip or Voortman's sugar-free wafers, though as always, portion size still matters. But here's the truth. Nothing beats homemade when it comes to blood sugar control. When you bake at home, you control the ingredients. Swap wheat flour for almond or coconut flour. Use erythritol, monk fruit, or stevia to sweeten. Add flavor with cinnamon, which may even support insulin sensitivity. And instead of butter or margarine, try healthy fats like Greek yogurt, mashed avocado, or a bit of applesauce to bind and moisten your dough. A pro tip: pre-portion your cookie dough into single servings before baking or freezing. That way, you're not guessing or tempted to overindulge. Many bakers even use mini muffin tins to make small, uniform portions. It's a simple habit that can make a big difference in your long-term glucose control. And don't forget, even healthy cookies affect your blood sugar. One medium cookie, about the size of a makeup compact, can still pack 15 to 20 grams of carbs. That's why many diabetes educators recommend checking your blood sugar 1 to 2 hours after eating, especially when trying a new brand or recipe. Everyone reacts differently, and what works for one person might spike another. So next time you reach for a cookie, ask yourself, do I know what's really in this and how it makes me feel afterward? Your best guide isn't the front of the package. It's how your body responds and how informed you are about what you're eating. Because true satisfaction isn't just about sweetness. It's about feeling good after the treat, not just during. So let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered today. We learned that sugar-free doesn't always mean blood sugar-friendly. From gut-disrupting sugar alcohols to hidden starches, artificial sweeteners, questionable additives, and tricky serving sizes, many of these so-called safe cookies can quietly undermine your health goals. But now you know what to look for. You know how to spot the traps. And most importantly, you know there are better options. You don't have to give up sweet moments to protect your blood sugar. You just have to make smarter choices, whether that's choosing a trusted low-carb brand, baking your own cookies with almond flour and cinnamon, or simply enjoying a single, satisfying portion with confidence. And remember, your blood sugar meter is your best guide. If a cookie leaves you feeling sluggish, bloated, or hungry for more, it's not serving you. But the right one can be a joyful treat that fits into your life without sabotaging your progress. You've got this. You're not just avoiding sugar, you're building awareness, control, and resilience with every bite. We'd love to hear from you. What's your go-to treat that doesn't spike your blood sugar? Have you tried any of the brands or baking tips we mentioned? Share it in the comments below. If this video helped you rethink your choices, give it a like. It really helps others discover this information. And don't forget to subscribe. We're here every week with simple, science-backed tips to help you live well, feel strong, and eat smarter, especially in your golden years. Thank you for watching and for taking charge of your health, one choice at a time.